Welcome to this episode of The Build Up, presented by the Florida Home Builders Association, serving up fresh perspectives on politics, building, and beyond.
Welcome to another episode of The Build Up. I'm your host, Ryan Benson, with A. Vernon Allen Builder in Naples and Sanibel. And along with me is
John Riddle with Turning Lead Custom Homes, located right here where we're at today in Sanford, Florida. We're actually in Winter Garden. I should say that.
We're in Winter Garden. So Florida Paints was kind enough to let us set up in their bar. Believe it or not, we're in a paint factory, but inside this amazing paint factory, they have a clubhouse bar. I think they're calling it the Pub is the setup. So we're going to do a series of interviews from here today. And our special guest today is the newest chairman, first chairman of the Florida Home Builders Association, William Webb. How are you, William?
I'm doing great. And you guys?
Good.
Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
So the title used to be president, now it's chairman. And so we made this change last time for the market. But I was president before, finished that term. William's our new chairman from nearby Polk County, right?
Yes, sir.
How far are you from here?
About 45 minutes.
Okay. So tell us, you're a home builder from Polk. Tell us about how you got into construction. What's your background?
So crazy thing is I started off in the nursery and landscaping business as a 12-year-old and grew a pretty sizable company up through my mid 30s. And my business was so big, I had extra free time. So what I decided that if somebody could do something, I could do it myself. And so I decided I was going to build my first home, which was 3,600 square foot. So I'm like, I'm not going to start off with something small. I mean, I own a landscape company. So long story short, started building this house, learned all kinds of great things. Took me 6 years to build the home, but with all the mistakes, I learned every aspect of home building. So I think it really helped propel me for when I actually did start in the home construction business, which I got licensed in 2000 and have been building ever since.
Okay. Very cool. And so back 2001, you still had the landscape company?
I did. I ended up selling it out to a national firm.
Okay.
And that legacy continues on there, and went to work for another local builder. And when the 2008 come along, things changed, and I found myself having to start my own business for real in 2008 in the building business.
And tell us about the home building company. How many houses, like what's your background, what's typical size and geographic footprint? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so 2008, I started the business, of course, at the bottom of the housing market. So we had $1 million worth of brand new contracts just evaporated immediately in 2008 because of the banking fallout. And so we started doing remodels and stuff on condos and stuff over on the beaches. So at least I had some income coming in and stuff and so forth. And it just led from one thing to another. Matter of fact, it was kind of like, can I do this? Well, I do it. And I'm like, well, now can I do this? Next thing I know, I'm building my first brand new home for a customer. And it just continued to grow that whole time to where we have, at one point during the 2017, 2018, we were running about 15 custom homes a year. Okay. And everything we've ever done has been designed for a specific customer. And we've really used that as our niche to become who we have become. So we went from the 15 to 20 homes. COVID came along, I didn't shut my business down, but we didn't take on any new contracts. So it gave us the opportunity to kind of redefine ourselves, look and see where a new niche might come into play. And lo and behold, because we weren't just chasing after contracts and work, we landed a 20,000 square foot home in Winter Haven to build. So it's like, sometimes not just rushing, just sit back and just let it come to you. And that's kind of how it worked out. And so that's kind of our niche now.
Get started.
So the previous builder I worked for, I had saw how he had grown his business through the Builders Association with the Parade of Homes. And so I was like, wow, this guy, he's a smart businessman. Lots of knowledge and that stuff. And I'm like, he showed me that was the one real avenue as somebody new getting into the industry that I could actually show my wares, because everybody can talk about, I can build this, that, or I could do that. But when people can actually come out and see what you've done, that makes believers out of people. And we just grew the business from there.
So you got involved with the Polk County
Yes, I actually got involved with the Polk County and also started getting involved at the state level at the same
Oh,
time.
jump right in.
Yeah, so since 2011, I've been involved with the state level, in the background, listening, observing. And then in 2014 was my first tenure as the president of the Polk County Builders Association. And then I wanted to be a two-timer, so I was also president in 2020. During COVID, of course, which was not that great of a year, but we managed.
So jumping into to policy for this year, we've talked a lot about water. Tell us why that's important to you and what we're working on to try and fix it.
So, to begin with, we started having some issues with this new program called Water Star. It's supposed to be a conservation program to help save water so we're not overusing our consumptive use on our wells that the municipalities all use. Well, Water Star came on and it started off as a voluntary program. The next thing we knew, we had local municipalities starting to mandate it. And it really messed up our sod farmers, landscapers, our marketing of our homes because nobody was aware of this was coming down the pike and it was almost immediate. So as I started digging into this and my eyes were open, it's like, wow, we really do have a problem with water. If we don't have water, we don't build. And so therefore, we've got to kind of get onto this and start understanding the processes, the science, therefore, so we can continue to build homes and provide clean water for our residents.
And what are we up against? Is it challenges with local municipalities that don't really understand? What are the obstacles in our way right now?
So most all of our municipalities have actually, they're part of these regional water management districts. And so each water management district does their own thing as far as how they're going to supply water to the consumer. Some of them, of course, are doing wells. Others are doing some desalination. And then there's others that are doing reservoirs and such. And so the biggest thing is just the supply of water and where we're going to get it from. And so each of the regions does a little different. And the one thing I noticed in Polk County, we're putting down 2 wells that's costing almost $1 billion. And the water's coming out of the ground so deep that it has to be desalinated. So when you desalinate, that becomes a waste byproduct that has to be disposed of. And they're going to therefore turn and pump that back into an even deeper layer of the aquifer. And it just made no sense to me. It's like, are we looking at all the avenues? And so over in Osceola County, in those areas, they actually have some really big reservoirs. And to me in Polk County, I'm like, I saw the percentage of water we were producing from reservoirs, and it was like 1%.
Hmm.
And yet Polk County has a lot of mined land, which to me seems like it would be a great opportunity for more reservoir retainage of water.
Fill up here.
And it seems like it's been very little. So that's what I've been doing. We've been going around to some of the water conferences and stuff and trying to understand where they're coming from so we can kind of look at it ourselves and maybe we can have a voice in it trying to help understand and maybe solve a problem.
Why is that important to our builders, our listeners? Like why should this Water Star requirement be important to them or something they should know about?
Well, the Water Star will limit the amount of landscaping and sod you can have in your yards as far as nice St. Augustine. They're also starting to dictate what types of plants you can use. So a lot of our really pretty plants and stuff we may not be able to use anymore. And it's a burden that's being put on to our builders on the front end. So we're having to do all these things to meet this Water Star qualification, yet there's no follow through with the consumers actually going to continue to follow on. So it's almost like a hypothetical, we're going to do this and it's going to save all this amount of water and we're going to have water forever. Well, I'm not a true believer in that. So again, we're being stuck with the burden, the extra cost onto the homeowner, giving a subpar product at the end, and that's supposed to fix it. So I've got questions.
Well, as our new chairman, I mean, you are the face or the point person for the Florida Home Builder Association this year. And our biggest effort of what we do is advocate on behalf of our industry to help our builders and contractors. And another issue I know that's important to you is an important topic coming up this year's session with the building permit process here in the state. You want
Yes,
to
sir.
chat about that a little bit?
Well, yeah, we've got municipalities and different governments across the state that everybody seems to do things differently. We've got some places where it's 3, 4, 5 months to get a home building permit, which is just crazy. So I'm in Polk County, thankfully, and we have a very good working relationship with most all of our municipalities in Polk County. And Polk County itself has really become like the shining star on the hill. I can walk in with a completed set of plans in the morning to the Polk County Building Division, and I can usually walk out that afternoon with my permit complete.
You tell us that a lot, and I'm like, there's no possible way.
I mean, our
Yeah.
relationship's great, but I mean, a day, nah.
And that's up to a 5,000 square foot home.
Wow.
So, and they do their process different than what any of these other counties I do. So I work in surrounding counties as well. And in Polk County, basically, it goes to 1 point person. That 1 point person does their thing. It goes to plans examining. That gets approved. It comes back to your point person. Everything else is finished up. You stroke a check right to them there, and you're walking out the door with your
I mean,
permit.
it's not a 24 to 48 hour wait time to go from department to department.
That's correct. But, I work in some of these other municipalities, and it's like the paperwork gets bounced around to 15 or 20 different people. And it seems like more times than not, the paperwork gets lost in the shuffle, and you're here trying to chase down where the heck are we at?
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
So what
it
are we
could be simple.
advocating?
So as far as the group, we are looking on trying to get a standardized type of form for building permitting across the state, because again, every municipality we go to, we're doing something different. We're being asked for additional things that are not part of the building code. And so those are a lot of the things we're working on.
I just heard a round of applause for that.
Yeah.
That is something we all, I think there's about 400 plus different jurisdictions in the state. There's one building code, and it's almost 400 different types of processes that we have to go through.
Yeah, and it's like this. I mean, we're all working off of a building code. So why are we all not working off the same processes? And that's really where we should get to.
And we're also talking a lot about what can and can't be permitted. I mean, some of the things they're asking for permits for is insane. And all this comes from, in the name of consumer protection, but it just went way too far, considering all of us are state licensed in what we do. And now, I mean, the level of oversight down to, we had permit for, if you want to do more than one sheet of drywall, you go in and fill out a $75 permit. Especially post disaster. I know we're working on a lot of things because we didn't want red tape in the way of building back communities after a hurricane comes through or any major natural disaster. So I think a lot of those it's a big lift, but we're getting a lot of attention for it now.
Yeah. Well, I was actually speaking, we had a DBPR raid yesterday over in Pasco County that I attended, which was really cool. These guys were coming in, selling their wares, and they'd already gone through several processes. So they were actually coming in yesterday to do the work, and they start doing their work, and the sheriffs came in and was taking them out.
What were they raiding?
What were they doing?
What was happening?
They were working on an air conditioning system.
No kidding.
Yep. They were coming there to change out an air conditioning system, no permits, no license, nothing. So that was pretty interesting. So that was cool to watch. They got 6 different people yesterday. But in the meantime, I was able to talk to their building division director over there in Pasco County. And some of these counties seem like they're really starting to take the permitting issue seriously. So they've had a change of guard over in Pasco County, and they've actually got now to where they're turning over permits in 10 days now.
Okay.
So I'm like, when I hear things like that, I'm like, yes, we got people are starting to understand. It's like, it's not about us. It's not about them. It's about our consumers and what we're trying to produce for them. I mean, it's like when we got a home and we're waiting, and we're going to talk about septic in a few minutes, but when we start building homes and these divisions, whether it's septic, building, if they're holding up our process of getting us our permit, most of us have a time clock already started with the bank saying, hey, I got 12 months to build this house on. And every day that they're taking away from us on that time clock, we end up getting penalized as contractors or dissatisfied homeowners, of course, because why are we not getting it done?
Right.
Yeah. Just want to talk about the raid for one more second.
I'm interested in that. Yeah.
So it was a group that was positioning or pretending to be licensed as an air conditioning company, and we're doing a change out. And then this was DBPR worked with Polk County Sheriff on
Pasco County.
Pasco County Sheriff
Yep.
to come in and nab them, and that's a felony. I mean,
No. So
okay,
apparently on your first offense, it's a misdemeanor.
okay,
Second is a felony.
okay.
And yesterday they had a guy came in and it was his second
No.
offense. So it's a
Wow,
felony this time.
good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah, them.
You know, that speaks to how we've been advocating with the DBPR, right? To help us out on that,
hmm
to find these guys that are practicing contracting without a license. And it sounds like we're starting to get some teeth into it.
Yeah. And the sheriffs, they seem like they're really interested. And then the division heads of these different areas across the state with DBPR, they're real serious about it. So I'm actually working on trying to get one in Polk County pretty
Very
soon.
cool. Good.
So the sheriff, Chris Nucko, he was there yesterday. Very personable guy. And I mean, they had their stuff together.
Well, you
It
have an
was awesome.
audience watching all this going down?
So what they did is they had us off site. So
Yeah.
I thought
Like a
we were,
staging area before they did this raid.
well, no. So
Yeah.
they said, we're coming down here to do a raid today. They're like, oh, I'm like, great. Then they send us the address and it's to the VFW hall. I'm like, okay, well, maybe so. I'm like, I just can't wait to get into a closet and jump out and say freeze.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen that way. We were actually remote. They had everything on cameras in a van, and we were
Wow.
able to watch the whole thing go down. And of
That's
course,
pretty cool.
they were recording. So it's a cool operation.
Huh.
Wow.
And they're
So-
serious about it, Pasco. They've been doing it a bunch.
That's great.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
stop practicing construction or contracting without a license. That's
That's
the
right.
message, right? Just
That's
stop. Just
that's
yeah.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Or you jail.
All right. I know you want to talk about septic systems. Yeah. Ryan's
a-
favorite subject.
It's
but
a
yeah.
Permitting.
sexy business, man. It really is. So again, like you understand, Florida is really a very rural state for the most part. And we're never going to have septic or sewer everywhere. So therefore, we still have to continue to rely upon septic systems. Well, unfortunately, over the last few years, the health department, which handles the septic permitting, was supposed to be transferred over to DEP, and the funding didn't get finalized last year. So we've already had the northern part of the state has been transferred over, and it seems like things are going pretty well. But the rest of us throughout the state are basically in limbo. Can't get any people to come in and actually do the jobs the Department of Health is requiring, nor do they have any guarantee they're going to have a job. So right now we've got two bills that have just been entered this last week. I've not had a chance to dig into it too deep, but essentially what the two bills are going to do is allow us to go ahead and be able to have the building permits issued as long as we have the testing in place to verify that a septic system can go in. They're going to be able to issue the building permits and then continue on the building process. The only caveat to that is you won't be able to get your certificate of occupancy until we get our final septic permit issuance, like when it's done.
That's
So
good.
why is that important that you can have your building permit issued? Like, were you not allowed to have your building permit issued prior to having your septic permit?
That is correct. Now, some municipalities have allowed a little bit of it, but they've not been allowing inspections. So it's like, what good is a permit if I can't do my work? So this will help alleviate that. So that'll help me with my time clock. It's like if it takes them 3 months at that point now, at least in what I do. Now, some production builders, it's going to hurt them still if they can't get those turned around, but at least it's giving us something.
Well, it's a bank clock that's ticking, and instead of just sitting there with it sitting on someone's desk where you're paying every day for the bank, and if you don't finish on time, like you said, start to get penalties, unhappy people, at least you can do it concurrently, and then we can accelerate the process.
That's
It's all
right.
about getting more units in the ground faster,
Yep.
less red tape. That's
Yep.
what we're here for.
That's the only way prices come down is when you have more supply.
That's right. What other priorities do you have as chair? What else do we want to look at?
Well, again, of course, all of our legislative priorities, again, water being one of the biggest ones, the permitting issues. I had some other ones, but I can't think of
How
them
do
right
our
this moment.
listeners make an impact with that, with our legislative priorities? Like our
Well-
builder members, we have what, 8,000 plus members around the state?
Are we approaching 9,000?
Are we now? Good, good, good.
So the thing that I've noticed with us at the state level is the fact the more of us that are out there and the more of us that are feeding information back to us as a group, the more we understand that there might be a problem you and I are not aware of, but this other group might be having issues, say it's in the center of the state or in the north part of the state. So we as a group, we can come up with solutions. And then, of course, with our relationship with Tallahassee, you know, we have a lot of people that understand our business and housing and how much it affects everybody in this state.
I mean, we have legislators that are builders. I think the CFO is a builder, right?
CFO's a builder, yeah.
Yeah.
Out of Hernando County.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one part of it, and then the next part of it is being involved, joining our government affairs meetings online. And then the next thing is it takes money. It takes money for us to be able to get the ear of legislators. It takes money for us to have lawsuits against whatever we need to sue, because we're starting to find out that, unfortunately, as nice as we are, I feel like we're a very friendly industry. And we've been that way for a long time, and we always dangle out carrots, trying to be nice, trying to get some support, like specifically like on impact fees. It's like we've done all these things to try to be nice about, hey guys, you guys are out of control with your impact fee increases. Help us. And so therefore it's got to the point where the sticks are going to have to start coming out. You know, wherever that misunderstanding is between other people's money and what it's costing the homeowner in the end, there's a big divide there. And I'm hoping that we can get some of these bills across the aisle.
You know, I want to
and
keep
done.
on what you said about getting involved. It's important for our listeners to understand that. So there are pathways to get involved with what we do at the Florida Home Builder Association. And one of the best ones that you'll be heading up our next conference, a legislative conference in February, early February, is to join your local HBA's Government Affairs Committee and then volunteer to come to Tallahassee, correct? You want to tell us more about that? Like, how does that work?
So again, when you join your local association, get involved. I mean, if you don't do anything else on a HBA, get involved with the government part, because it's like this. I don't care what part of the business you're in home building, your tile layer, whatever, everything that happens in Tallahassee and locally affects you. And so we have our voice through our local HBAs that we then come up to Tallahassee and we start meeting with legislators. Strengthen numbers.
I mean, we literally go in their office and sit down and chat with them, right?
Yeah. And the strength in numbers shows that, you know, a little squeak normally gets ignored, but a big squeak, as in this association, we get attention and things get done. And unfortunately, that's just the way it is. We have to be up there. We have to speak and have them help us. It's none of us going up there saying, you gotta, but it's a working relationship.
Anything else you want to leave to the members and viewers and audience? Any parting message?
Well, the thing I would say is join the associations, get involved. It will be the best thing that you can ever do for your business. There's nothing like the power of others around you to help you succeed.
Nicely said.
Well, what's your favorite restaurant in Lakeland?
El Forno.
Okay.
It's an Italian restaurant.
Italian.
Very good.
All right.
I think we had Paisanos earlier today, right?
Paisanos,
we're on the Italian kick.
Yeah. Good. We'll join you down there sometime.
Yeah, and if we go to Costa Rica, I'll take you to Emilio's for breakfast.
Okay.
Best French toast in the world.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
All right.
Was that be our next remote broadcast?
Yeah,
Costa Rica?
we'll work on that. Awesome. Well, we appreciate you being here with us, William, and all the best in 2026 for getting a lot of these heavy priorities across the line. But we have all the faith and confidence that you, along with our association, are the ones to get it done. So thank you again. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
So
Thank you.
that's been another episode of The Build Up. Join us next time, another episode from Florida Paints.
And that's a wrap on this episode of The Build Up, brought to you by the Florida Home Builders Association. Keep the conversation going, and we'll catch you next time.